You've been out all weekend doing truck stuff. You've been exploring some new trails, maybe hitting a new fishing spot, or just getting off the grid to get away from work in the office. But now you're back in your driveway and it's time to get your truck clean because you want it to be just as presentable as you when you head into the office. So you might think cleaning an off-road truck is pretty simple. You just blast it off with some water and boom, you're ready to go. That's fine, but to do it the proper way, there's a very specific process. So what I'm gonna do is, we're just gonna start blasting this off right now. Wrong, okay? Going and blasting your car off first thing promotes getting water spots. So what I don't wanna do is hit the whole car with water and then start working on wheels and tires and doing all this stuff. I actually already cleaned the wheels and tires first to prevent from getting water on the car to avoid from getting water spots. Now, one thing to consider when you're doing this process is, where is the sun? So right now the sun is pointing right over there, pointing right at us. So when I get into rinsing off my car, I want to start in the shaded side first because it's going to dry less fast and not have a chance of getting water spots. So when I go to rinse my car, I'm gonna go around to the other side. The other thing to consider too is, do you have all of your stuff prepared? Okay, what I see a lot of times is people start blasting off their car and then they go searching for their buckets, whatever wash pad they can find. Maybe it's a dirty wash pad from 5 years ago. It's not easy to go figure that stuff out while water spots are baking on the surface of your car. So I've already gone ahead and started setting up my buckets. I have clean water in both of these buckets, and I'm actually using both of these buckets for a very specific reason, which is called a 2-bucket wash. Now, I will explain it while I'm doing it, but the 2-bucket wash is very, very important. I have a foam cannon set up as well. This is to distribute foam evenly across the car. I'll talk about that here in a little bit. And I have our car shampoo. I also have 2 wash pads in this bucket to clean the car. The other thing I also have ready, and I always put this in the driver's seat to remind myself, is I have my drying towel and I also have my drying aid, because again, our final rinse is gonna leave hard water on this car and we wanna get that off as quick as possible. So having this prepared as well, like with your washing stuff, is very important. The one thing I do wanna do before I start rinsing the car is I'm gonna put car shampoo directly onto my wash pad. So I'll take the car shampoo, put it directly onto the wash pads. Now, the reason why you do this is because every time that you take your wash pad and it reactivates the suds inside, it creates lubrication on the car. So it reduces the chance for wash-induced scratches. So I like to do it on both sides, and then I'll just give it a couple squeezes directly into the bucket as well. I'm gonna leave the second bucket here with just normal clean water. And then, like I said, I already set up my foam cannon. Now that we have our wash stuff all set up, it's time to wash the car. Now, with a truck like this, a ZR2 like this, that is extremely dirty from enjoying doing truck stuff during the weekend, we want to wash this a little bit different. Now, normally I would just go through and start rinsing the car, but in this case, I'm actually going to foam it first, okay? The reason why I want to foam it first is because I want to pull as much of the dirt away from the car, let the foam pull it away. The weight of the foam also will pull the foam down onto the ground. So then we'll rinse it after that, then we'll foam it again, and then we'll get into actually using the wash pads onto the car. So first things first, like I said, I have my foam cannon all set up. Now, a foam cannon is dedicated to a pressure washer, okay? And I'm using a pressure washer today, and I highly recommend using a pressure washer when you're cleaning off-road vehicles. It does more work with less effort. And at Chevy, they offer a foam gun instead of a foam cannon that connects to your standard garden hose, and that disperses a nice layer of foam as well. But in this case, I'm using the pressure washer. All right, so we foam first. Allowing the foam to kind of pull it away, pull it down and off to the truck and onto the ground. Now, what I can do is do a nice rinse, which is gonna pull off even more of the dirt, and then we'll re-foam it and we'll start washing it. But what I wanna do is reset up my foam cannon. All I'm gonna do is take the top off, I just need to refill this up. So I fill it up almost all the way to the top. There's some lines. This is a 35 ounce container, so I fill it up pretty close to the 35 ounces. And then I take the car shampoo and give it about 3 to 4 squeezes. Put the top back on and then shake it up. It's actually more safe to have the car shampoo on your car than it is to have hard water on your car. The reason being is the car shampoo neutralizes the water. It encapsulates all of the minerals that are inside of the hard water. And if the soap dries on the car, I can rinse that away perfect. But if the minerals dry on the car, it creates water spots. I'm standing here talking to you guys about car washing and the soap starting to dry on the car. I am not worried one bit because I know that it's more safe to have the soap on the car than it is to have the hard water. But as soon as I start rinsing this off and the hard water's on there, time is ticking. I need to get back to a place where I can foam it again to start my wash. I want to be aware of where the sun is. So the sun is coming from right there in a direct line right to me. And so essentially that side of the ZR2 and the back is in the shade. That's where I want to start rinsing this foam off because it's going to dry less fast and take longer to develop water spots. So I start rinsing in the shade, moving into the sun, and then immediately when I get to this side, I will reconnect my foam cannon and start foaming in the sun, moving into the shade. All right, so we rinsed off the first layer of foam that we put on here. Now, 99 out of 100 times guarantee that you end up driving away, okay? It probably looks very clean to you, but what I guarantee happens is you end up getting home, and after the water dries on your car, boom, you have the layer that's underneath the layer that's underneath the layer of dirt sitting on your car. You have to agitate, meaning use a wash pad on your car to get it clean the right way, especially on an off-road vehicle. Now we need to agitate the car, but first what I want to do is put another layer of foam on because I want a layer of lubricity on the car to help my wash pad glide, but also I want to neutralize the hard water that's sitting on here right now. So I'm going to take my pressure washer tip, put it in my pocket, and remember, I had already reset up my foam cannon. So now it's just a matter of putting this back on. And what I want to do is start foaming on the sunny side first to start neutralizing the water before I get hard water spots. Okay, car is foamed down, and now what it's time to do is to agitate the suds in our bucket. So I take my pressure washer tip, put it on here. You're going to put the pressure washer tip just a little bit into the water, pull the trigger, and then start pulling it up, and you'll see the suds start to activate. So get the suds nice and activated. And now it's time for a 2-bucket wash. Now, in the 2-bucket wash, we have grit guards in the bottom of both buckets, okay? The grit guards are super important, okay? These essentially get the dirt off from the car into the wash pad. Then you rub the wash pad on here and the dirt falls to the bottom of the bucket. And these fins at the bottom of the grit guard prevent the water from swirling and bringing the dirt back up to the top of the water in the bucket. So it creates a more safe environment when it comes to cleaning or washing your car. It doesn't generate wash-induced swirl marks or wash-induced scratches. So a grit guard at the bottom of both buckets. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to grab one wash pad, and especially with a off-road vehicle like this, I'm going to use one wash pad for one side of the vehicle. So let's say the driver's side. I'm going to use the other wash pad for the passenger side because I know that there's still a lot of dirt on this car. The less I rub the dirt around with one wash pad across the whole car, the less damage I'm going to get. So that's why I have 2 wash pads. So I'll take the first one and we can start washing. I've used the wash pad on about half of this side of the car. I haven't even gone to the hood or the grill, and I haven't even dropped below the belt line on the rear door right here and beyond. But before I move on to those areas, I'm going to go to the clean bucket. So this is the essence of a 2-bucket wash. I take the wash pad that has a ton of dirt and grime on it. I stick it to the bottom of the bucket, and I rub it against the grit guard. Okay, I'll just pull this out so you can see the visual of what the grit guard is doing. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing this against it, rubbing it against the bottom. So as you can see, it drops the soap and dirt mixture to the bottom of the bucket. I do it on one side, I flip it over like this, and now the dirt from my wash pad is now into the bucket here, all the way at the bottom, and the fins prevent it from swirling and coming to the top. So I have less dirt and grime on my wash pad after I rub it against the grit guard that's at the bottom of this bucket. Then what I do is I wring it out. I put it into the second bucket. I still have my second clean wash pad here for the passenger side. And then I rub this against the grit guard in the soapy bucket. So now what I'm doing is I'm, just for good measure, getting as much of the dirt off. But now I have the lubricating soapy mixture into the wash pad again. And you can see it's very, very clean. It's almost back to when I started on both sides. So now what I can do is I can go back to the dirty car, off-road vehicle, off-road truck at that, and continue to wash the car. And with a car that was this dirty, what I want to do is, if I use one side of the wash pad for everything, I'm just going to take dirt from here, I'm going to move it over here, I'm going to move it over here. So after I hit some of the dirtiest parts of the car, like right here, I'll take my wash pad, flip it over to this side, and I'll keep going over here. And then if I feel like I hit a really, really dirty spot on this part of the car, instead of just letting it ride and continuing around, I'll go back to the clean bucket, hit the grit guard, second bucket, grit guard, and then continue my washing and keep going. But what I'm not gonna do is cross the halfway mark on the car. I'm gonna stop there. Before I move to the other side of the car, I'll grab my second wash pad. So you can see right here how dirty this is right here. Thank good golly, Miss Molly, because we have the grit guard at the bottom of our bucket. So you can see how dirty this is. I'll take this down here, rub it against the grit guard. Flip it over, rub it against the grit guard. Wring this out. Do it on this side. And then when you take it out of the soapy water, boom, nice clean wash pad again, and I can keep going. So keep going on here. I'm almost done with the driver's side half of the car. Then I'll switch to the other fresh wash pad and make my way to the other side. All right, so we've gone through around the whole car and agitated it with our wash pads. Again, utilizing the 2-bucket wash system frequently because this car was so dirty. So now, again, where I sit right now is there's a soap mixture on the car. Even if it's dry, it's still safe to have that on there rather than hard water. And so what I'm doing now is I do want to make sure that I have everything ready for the drying process. So like I said before, I have my drying towel and my detail spray inside of the truck already. This is going to be my drying aid to help the towel glide on the surface while I dry, but also add a lot of shine while I'm drying as well. And then I have my great white drying towel that's going to dry the whole truck. Or just remember, on the first rinse we did today, after the first foam, we started rinsing in the shade. So again, the sun has moved a little bit, it's more facing right directly in front. So I'm going to move kind of to the back portion of the car, start rinsing there first, and then move into the area that is in the sun. So we'll get into rinsing right now, and then we'll dry the car. Okay, we have the truck all rinsed down. Now I'm just gonna set my washing stuff aside. I'm not actually gonna go and fully clean out the buckets and everything just yet, because if I did that, that would take time, which time means water spots. It's kind of the common theme of this video, right? So set this aside, and we're gonna grab our detail spray and our great white drying towel. So with these products, this is one of the best ways to dry your car, okay? I will say, if you have a forced air unit to use to blow water out of your mirrors or your badges or your grill, that is also a great tool. It gets, I think what ends up happening a lot is you start drying your car, you make it all the way around the car and you come back, and then there's a line of hard water that is seeping out of your mirrors or your grill or whatever. And the way to get that water out of there is to use a forced air unit to blow it out of there, and then you start drying your car. So the detail spray acts as a lubricant, okay? The towel acts as the thing to dry the car. So what you do with the detail spray is you take this and you mist it all over the car like this. Now you don't want to overuse it. It's just a nice even layer of the detail spray on the car. And like I said, what this is doing is putting a nice layer of lubrication onto the car. And this is gonna add a ton of shine when we get into finishing drying the car. So it's a nice even layer. Now I'm actually gonna set this on my pocket, because if I get to a spot that is really dirty, like maybe I missed it during washing, because here's the thing, I'm not perfect at washing. So there might be an area that maybe I missed. I can spray it with a little bit of detail spray and then hit it with my towel and I'll be good to go. Now, when it comes to drying towels, something I see a lot of people do is they open their towel up like this and they shoot and drape it over the car and drag it off. Ooh, like how amazing is that, right? What ends up happening is after the third time you do that, it wastes your whole towel. It picks up so much water that then when you go to do it the next time, it's streaky and then you're not actually getting your car dry. The other thing about that is if you hit a dirt spot, it wastes your whole towel. So what I like to do is fold the towel onto itself long ways, once, twice, and a third time, like so. And then I grip it on the open side of my fold, okay? Now with the detail spray on here, I like to start with the glass because the glass is the most streaky. So if I go and start drying the car and I pick up a ton of water and detail spray and then I come back to the glass, boom, it's streaky. So let's just start with the glass first. We just take this and you can see just by a few swipes, we get the glass nice and dry. Move to the back. Car's finally done, okay? Our off-road wash and dry is complete. And from where we took it, enjoying it on the weekend, doing truck stuff, to cleaning it with Adams Polishes now, you can see the difference. Now, if you look really into the paint, you can see we did not scratch this car from doing our washing and our drying. That's because of the process. Doing the right process and using the right products really provides the best results when it comes to keeping your car clean. Again, in this video, we talked about a very specific process. I gave a few tips and tricks, like foaming the car down first to get more of the loose dirt and grime off. But we also talked about how you need to agitate the vehicle with wash pads to get kind of that layer of dirt that's under the layer of dirt off. And one of the key things that we did was the 2-bucket wash. Again, utilizing the grit guards. That's probably the most important aspect of what we did here today. So now you know the process to get your off-road vehicle looking amazing, but you need the products. Where do you go? You go to ChevroletAccessories.com, or you can go to your local Chevy dealership. All the products you see offered during this process, you can get at those locations. So listen, go enjoy your truck on the weekend, do some truck stuff, but make sure you bring it back in your driveway and get it looking perfect.